Peace be with you all and welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor, very grateful to have you here. In today's video, I've got a recap of my weekly fragrance rotation rounding out the end of July. Today's the 29th, so we still have 3 days left of the month, but this is what I was wearing on this tail end of the midsummer season. Missoni Wave for Monday. So the beginning of the week, this week, we had some storms coming in. They've been showing up in the morning, leaving by the nighttime, so a lot of high humidity, but cooling off temperatures. Most of July we were in the low 90s, but all this week we've kind of came back down into the low 80s, mid 80 degree benchmark there. So this one was a great pick for that little bit of a cooling off sensation. There's a really heavy-handed creaminess in this fragrance that makes it a little bit different than other ones in the genre, such as Versace Pour Homme or Chanel Allure Homme Sport. So amped up creaminess, amped up fruity qualities, and an otherwise nice, clean, aquatic feel. And that little bit of heavier handedness on the creamy side of things was one of the reasons why I reached for it due to the drop in temperature. One of the better wearing experiences for me this week, that nice scent bubble and that really thick sort of texture makes it for a really enjoyable wearing experience where at least for me, I'm catching a lot of wafts off of it, whereas some of the other ones I tend to go nose blind with. But this was my Monday fragrance of the day. Really awesome, cheapy. I don't know if this one's been discontinued. I think it stopped showing up at Missoni's official website, so maybe check this one out if you haven't already. Really high quality. It's synthetic in its scent profile, but it's put together and constructed in a really good manner, so that way it comes off as just, like I said, a really great wearing experience. It was one of my favorite for Monday. Tuesday was the only fragrance I did get a compliment on this week. This is Pacific Rock Moss from Goldfield and Banks. This is a really nice, salty, aquatic sea breeze with a very fresh, tart lemon. This is kind of like a more niche take on the Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Oh Intense DNA. This one takes a little bit of that sort of Ambroxany designer feel out of it and creates a much more natural feeling and breezy, light, airy take on that scent profile of the salty aquatic. This one also is something that I tend to go nose blind to rather quickly, so I don't catch this one in terms of wafts off of my own skin during the wearing experience, but one that I consistently get compliments on deep into the wearing experience. So can't say exactly how long the longevity is for me on this one, but it tends to draw me attention pretty late into the wearing experiences, at least 4 to 5 hours in. So that's Pacific Rock Moss, pretty affordable as well for a niche fragrance. I got mine as a, actually I think I got this on Aura Fragrance as a full presentation. I've got a couple of other ones from them as testers, but you can usually find these for anywhere between 100 to 120, which I think is a pretty great deal for the quality that you get there. Next one, Wednesday. Wednesday is when I have my night shift at work. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I work during the day. Wednesday is the one time where I'm scheduled in the evening. So I went for a summer night fragrance, something a little bit also more heavy-handed because of the continued drop in temperature going from day to night, as well as the storms that we've been getting this week, and something a little bit more fun and playful as well. So I went with Le Beau Eau de Toilette from Jean Paul Gaultier. This I think is really kind of a coconut staple for me, something that if I had a grab for one tropical fragrance to carry me through a summer season, even just a decant thereof, because it's sort of like a niche event during the summer, poolside and tropical vacation. This one is just hits all the marks on that front. It's got a really nice fresh coconut, something that reminds me of very much of like the coconut flesh of a raw, real coconut, rather than something a little bit more coconut flavored in a candy per se. And then a very refreshing bergamot and a tonka bean to kind of help sweeten things up. This comes off, although somewhat synthetic in terms of a syrupy texture, still very fresh, invigorating, and well put together, and like I said, something that I wanted to grab for at a summer night because of that little bit of a playful nature to it. Haven't gotten a compliment on that one this week, but I feel like I got a lot of positive attention and people kind of being very amiable toward me in terms of strangers when dealing with me while wearing that fragrance. Okay, so for Thursday, went with something easy, one that I hadn't worn during the season so far, but wanted to grab for because it is tried and true. And one variation, a flanker of this fragrance, was one that I wore to my wedding day. Not this one, but this is Profondo from Acqua di Gio, or Acqua di Gio Profondo from Giorgio Armani, forgive me. And this, again, similar to the Pacific Rock Moss, it goes into that salty oceanic breeze type feel, but this one's a lot more mineralic, a lot more marine, a lot more beneath the surface of the water, and very nice also sweetness coming in from both this mastic resin, which I feel gives it this very nice sticky sexy kind of appeal with this resinous sensation from that mastic, and then also a very nice sweet orange facet, very fruity orangey facet in here, but it doesn't get fruity in the sense that it's overtaking the scent profile. It's still very much predominantly that mineralic marine quality, but there's just a subtle hint of sweetness coming in from a very well done orange in here. Very easy, refreshing, and pretty long lasting for a fresh fragrance. Generally, I feel like the flankers to the Acqua di Gio line do give me about at least medium performance, but tried and true fragrance. Have gotten me compliments in the past, none this week, but well worth getting your nose on at least one fragrance from the Acqua di Gio line if you haven't. It's somewhat of an iconic staple for men. Next Friday is when I like to wear niche fragrances, and this is one that I've been itching to put on since I got it, which was earlier on in the June season, I want to say, so it's fairly new to the collection, but very glad to have it. This is Virgin Island Water from Creed. So I think this one is pretty overpriced. Generally, I don't see it coming for much less than maybe like $280 for the 100 ml. I was very lucky to get this on a deal for under $200 for this full presentation from the Perfume Spot. Great discounter, check them out if you haven't already. But this is very beautiful sparkling citruses, some of the best citruses out of my entire collection. They're a little bit short-lived, but an awesome lime coming up off the top of this, very tart, refreshing, cool, cold, and then it dries down into something very pina colada-esque. You get this fruity sensation coming in there from that lime. There's a little bit of this boozy rum sweet facet, and then a really creamy coconut. Again, kind of like the Jean Paul Gaultier, I would recommend maybe getting a decant or a sample of this fragrance, because I feel like the occasions it's built for are a little bit more niche. Definitely something for a high heat barbecue, something poolside, beachy vacation. So not something that I would consider a daily driver, even though it could be. It's a little bit more too fun, playful, sweet for that, at least for my taste, but great for those special occasions in the summertime, seasonal events. High quality, and I actually get pretty decent performance out of this one. The citrus aspect of it is very short-lived, but the creamy coconut sweetness that comes in the dry down, it gets to be a little bit of a skin scent, not as much projection, but still hangs out there for a really long time, at least 7 hours for me. So that's Creed's Virgin Island Water for Friday. Saturday, went over to my parents' house, brought the kids there to swim in their pool, and it was a little bit too cold yet. Like I said, the temperatures kind of came down into the mid-80s, out of the 90s that we had last week, and wanted to wear this fragrance just because it was something that was easygoing and inoffensive and reminded me again of a poolside event. So we didn't actually go swimming. I dipped in for a minute, but it was a little bit chilly, and this was a fragrance that I was wearing throughout the course of the day Saturday. This is Mancera's French Riviera. Very simple fragrance, just smells like a sandy suntan lotion. There's a really nice lemon in there, and then that abrasive kind of sandy textural feel over the top of a very inoffensive suntan lotion. Very simple fragrance, which is why I just wanted to have a relaxing day Saturday to enjoy it out poolside. I think this is great for that, but this is currently very hyped up. I don't know whether it's on TikTok or what, but it's sold out most places. Do not pay full retail or scalped prices for this fragrance. Like I said, it's very simple and kind of a dumb reach, something that I wouldn't consider paying special occasion prices for. I was lucky enough to get this off of Aura Fragrance for $89. I think that's a fair price, what normally Mancera's are going for. So it's worth getting your nose on, but definitely wait for it to come back into stock places and don't pay more than $100. But really beautiful sandy suntan lotion with a little bit of bright citrus coming in to kind of make it refreshing enough for high heat occasions. And then finally for Sunday, it was a little bit rainy, overcast, and stormy that day, but it was still hot in the air in terms of just being, you know, low 80s despite the sort of monsoon type of weather patterns going on outside. And I ended up shooting a top 10 summer office fragrances video yesterday, so this was the fragrance that I was wearing, both to harmonize with just shooting that video and because it just fit the mood. It was refreshing enough to be well played in the heat, but also cool and cold and reserved enough to kind of go with that relaxing, sit at home, relaxing rainy day, just do some office work at the house per se. Guerlain Homme Eau de Parfum, a really beautiful mint mojito and soapy vetiver fragrance. The soapy vetiver is a little bit more predominant as the main facet of this fragrance, so it's very clean and refreshing soapy like that. So that's why I picked it to be great for an office occasion, but it sweetened up with that mint and mojito rum facet that is not playful enough to be something that I would consider more of like a date night or a night out fragrance. Definitely more of a daytime occasion, but that kind of earthy tone that the mint brings kind of grounds it enough for making it a great fragrance to pick for that rainy day occasion. And kind of the juice color and the scent profile creates a tone that matches that kind of greenish hue that the unsaturated clouds get on a rainy day. And really relaxing. The mint, the note of mint is for me as well. Like I said, it's very grounding, earthy, and calming, and just this fragrance just was a delight to wear throughout the course of my relaxing Sunday. Probably these two being my favorite wearing experiences because of the scent bubble and the auras that they gave me during the week last week. So that was my full rotation of 7 fragrances. Let me know what you've been wearing down in the comment section down below. And as always, I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next